2 years ago, I launched the Write Will Scale publication on Substack, and since then the publication has grown to over 40,000 subscribers and more than 1,400 paid members. And it's the foundation of a business generating over $50K per month. But I'll be honest here, growing on Substack as a beginner can be incredibly confusing. Over the past 2 years, I've learned a few things that I genuinely wish someone had told me before we got started, because they would have saved us months of frustration and probably thousands of dollars in mistakes we didn't need to make. So what I'm going to do in this video is compress the most important lessons from 2 years of building on Substack into just a few minutes. My name is Sinem Günel, and some of the things I'm going to share today might go against the common advice you hear about Substack, but these are the things that actually moved the needle for us at Write Will Scale. So let's get right into it. Here's one of the biggest mistakes I see new Substack creators make, and I see it all the time. They sign up for an account, pick a topic they are passionate about, and they start publishing. A few months later, they only have a few subscribers, no income, and no idea what they are actually working towards. So before you write your very first post, I want you to sit down and ask yourself one question. What is going to make this Substack a success for me? And I want you to be honest about this. It is perfectly fine to run a Substack publication purely for pleasure, as a hobby. If you just love writing and want a place to share your ideas, there's a valid reason to be on the platform, and that's perfectly fine. But if you want to monetize your Substack, you need to take it a step further. You need to ask yourself what the actual business purpose of your publication is. Is it supposed to generate revenue through paid subscription? Or is it supposed to bring in new leads and clients for your existing business? Is it going to be your portfolio, your email list, or maybe a mix of all of that? Because what you are building toward completely changes how you create content and how you show up on any platform. Let's say you are a marathon coach, for example, and your goal is to eventually sell a 12-week training program to runners. Now, every post you write has a purpose. It builds trust and demonstrates that you can actually help someone cross the finish line. Your content stops being random and starts becoming strategic, and it's working toward a specific goal. You don't need to have products and offers built on day one, but you want to have a direction to avoid wasting your time in the long run. Next, I want you to think about doing the math backwards, and I'll explain what this means. I know it sounds boring, but it completely changes how you think about growth. Let's say you want to make an extra $2,000 a month through your Substack. If you're selling a $100 workshop, you basically need 20 sales per month to get there. If your list converts at around 1%, you will need roughly 2,000 subscribers to make it work. But if you're doing one-on-one coaching at $500 a month, you only need 4 clients to hit that same number. That is totally different, and it can mean that a much smaller audience can work just fine. Most people skip this step entirely and attach their self-worth to arbitrary growth targets. They think they need 10,000 subscribers before they can make any money. But I've personally seen creators with just a few hundred subscribers run profitable businesses because they built the right offers for the right subscribers, even if it was a tiny audience. And now here's why this matters even more on Substack specifically. Substack has an enormous amount of different tools and features you can use. You can do collaborations, guest posts, live streams, you can host a podcast, run a paid tier, publish video, add voiceovers to your articles, use Substack notes, and so much more. It's easy to get overwhelmed trying to do everything at once, especially if you're new to the platform. Running the math and looking at it backwards helps you stay focused, because once you know what you're actually building toward and what the numbers need to look like, you can filter all of those features through one simple question. Does it help me get closer to my goal, or is it a distraction? Because the truth is, you don't need to use all those features, especially not in your first weeks or months. Now, for my next point, we need to address the elephant in the room. AI can write 1,000 words about any topic in just a few seconds. So if your posts read like something ChatGPT could have written, you have a serious problem. But here's what most people miss. AI was never trained on your life, which means that your lived experience is the biggest competitive advantage you have right now. And the creators growing the fastest on Substack are not necessarily the best writers. They are the ones who figured out how to weave their specific story and personality into everything they publish. A post about healthy eating from a nutritionist who reversed her own autoimmune condition hits completely differently than a generic list of meal prep or eating tips, for example. It's the same topic, but a completely different impact and a completely different trustworthiness to the writer. So here's what I want you to do. Find the one experience, the one perspective, the one piece of your story that only you can tell, and make it the thread that runs through your entire publication, because that's your unfair advantage. No algorithm change and no AI tool will ever take that away from you. Now, this next one is huge, but most creators still have no idea about it. Substack has a built-in feature called recommendation. And here's how it works. When someone subscribes to a publication, your publication can be recommended to them. And obviously it also works the other way around. They subscribe to you and they get a recommendation based on what you want to recommend to your readers. This creates a network effect where creators are essentially helping each other grow without anyone having to do any extra work. And most people completely ignore this feature. But the truth is, recommendations have brought us thousands of subscribers. That's basically all subscribers from a feature that took us just a couple of minutes to set up. And there's a networking side to it as well. When you recommend another creator, they're likely to check out your publication and might even recommend you back. But here's what I think is even more valuable. Those recommendations open the door to real relationships. Once you have that initial connection, you can reach out and explore other collaboration opportunities together. This could be guest posts, live streams, cross promos. It all starts with a simple recommendation or a private message. So go to your dashboard, find the recommendations section, and start recommending publications you genuinely read and enjoy. That can literally be your first step. Next is a lesson that I think most people aren't even aware of yet. When Substack first started, it was purely a long-form content platform. All you could do was write posts and send them out via email. That was literally it. This means that most people only showed up on Substack a couple times per month when they were sending out their long-form posts. The problem with only showing up a few times per month is that it's easy for your readers to forget who you are and why they should care. And the truth is that anyone needs multiple interactions with any creator before they really trust them. So if you're only publishing once a week, you have a lot of weeks to go before someone can really feel connected to you. But Substack has changed a lot over the last couple of years. It's no longer just a long-form publishing platform. It now has a strong social layer that allows you to show up between your posts. And there are two features in particular that I want you to pay attention to. The first one is Substack Notes, which is a short-form writing feed where you can share quick thoughts, images, or quotes from your articles. When you post a note, people who have never heard of you can literally discover your work. I have a full tutorial on exactly how to use notes that I'll link below if you want the complete strategy. The second one that most people overlook is your subscriber chat. This is a built-in space where your subscribers can interact with you and with each other. At Right Build Scale, we use our subscriber chat every single day. We share behind-the-scenes moments, we ask questions, we celebrate our readers' wins, and it keeps our community incredibly engaged and active. The truth is, most publications have a dead chat collecting dust, but when you actually show up in your chat consistently, it becomes one of the most powerful trust-building and retention tools on the platform. And by the way, if you are wondering what to actually post in your subscriber chat, we built an entire system for it. It's called the Publication Chat OS, and it's giving you dozens of templates and a scheduling database so you can run your chat like a pro. I'll drop the link in the description box if you want to check it out. But the main point of this lesson is very simple. Don't disappear after you hit publish. The gap between a post and the next one is where most readers forget that you even exist. Showing up in notes and in your chat literally closes that gap. Now, when we started Right Build Scale on Substack in 2024, we thought that consistently publishing great content would workload be the main driver for growth. And don't get me wrong, of course your content quality matters. But what genuinely surprised us was how powerful collaborations turned out to be. Because this is something that is really unique to Substack and doesn't really exist in a similar way on other platforms. When you collaborate with another Substack creator, you are placed directly in front of their audience, and this can happen in multiple ways. Those subscribers tend to be more engaged than the ones who find you through almost any other channel. They open more emails, they leave more comments, and they convert at a higher rate, simply because they already trust your collaboration partner who recommended you. And the truth is, collaborations really don't need to be complicated. You can start by leaving real thoughtful comments on publications in your space. Not just something like great post, but actual responses that add to an ongoing conversation. Then you can do a guest post, you can do a live stream together, you can do a cross promotion and launch something together. We have done dozens of collaborations, live streams, and guest posts with other creators on the platform, and it has worked at every single stage. It worked when we had 500 subscribers, and it still works now with over 40,000. Substackers genuinely want to help each other grow right now, and you can take advantage of that from day one, even if you have a tiny publication. Now here's the most important lesson from our 2 years on the platform. Most people treat Substack as a subscription platform. They turn on paid subscriptions, set the price to $5 or $10 a month, and then they just wait. And most of them don't get past a dozen paid subscribers, if at all. But here's the shift that changed everything for us. We stopped thinking of Substack as a place to sell subscriptions and started treating it as infrastructure. Our paid subscriptions, even with over 1,000 members, make up less than 10% of our total revenue. The real money comes from what we have built around the publication, like courses, coaching, products, and a private community. Each of those serves people at a different stage of their journey and at a different price point. Your publication is not the business, it's the entry point to your universe. It's how people discover you, learn how to trust you, and eventually invest in your work at a deeper level. And you don't need to build all of this on day one. You can start with one small product, like a mini course, a workshop, a template pack, a short guide that solves one specific problem your readers keep asking you about. Then you can add the next thing when you're ready. What matters here is the mindset shift, to see and treat your Substack as the foundation of something that can be much bigger. Now here's a bonus lesson that I almost didn't include, but I think it might be the most practical one in the video. Before you go any further on Substack, take 2 minutes and write down what is most likely to hold you back. If you've tried building an audience before, what made you stop last time? Was it imposter syndrome? Was it burnout? Was it a lack of clarity on what you were even building? Or was it simply that life got busy and creating content fell off your priority list? If this is your first time, think about what you already know about yourself. Do you struggle with consistency? Do you tend to overthink things? Do you get discouraged when the numbers don't move fast enough? For most people, it comes down to one of two things. Either they don't know what they are selling, which we already covered in lesson 1, or they don't have a system they can realistically sustain. Knowing your barriers before they show up really helps you design around them so they don't hold you back. And one of the things we do with our VIP coaching clients is to map out their specific roadblocks in the first sessions. Because the creators who last on Substack are not the ones with the most talent. They are the ones who planned for the inevitable dips and they kept going anyway. There you go, those are the biggest lessons from 2 years of building on Substack and growing one of the best-selling publications in our space. Now, if you're just getting started and want to make sure your foundation is solid, I've put together a free Substack starter kit. It walks you through how to set up your publication, how to identify your readers, and how to create content that actually resonates. The link is in the description box below. And if you want to see exactly how we turned our Substack into a 50K per month business, watch this video next, where I break down the entire model. I'll see you there.